Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
We're back after
We
a
are
couple
back.
of weeks. I mean, we did give you vlogs galore, but we took a little rest from podcasts.
I'm going to wish everybody a happy 4th of July weekend, although, can we say that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's in or what's out anymore.
Be happy and merry as long as you're home and safe.
Yes, or if you go out, wear a mask.
And stay away from other people, really people.
Really
so
people.
that's the end of my preaching for now. So we have been busy watching a lot of old shows. And if you watched our recent vlog, you know that we binged on A Place to Call Home.
Binged, and I miss it.
I miss it too so much, but I live it vicariously through my parents who are now finishing the 6th season, and they keep telling me what they're watching, and we have discussions about it, so that helps. But then one of the ways that we've dealt with our withdrawal was to watch something else, Marta, Dusseldorf. And since we've already seen Janet King, though, I think we're due for a
I'm
rewatch.
ready to rewatch it.
Totally.
It's been a couple of years.
At least.
Yeah.
We remembered that we never watched Crownies, which was
Right.
the original before the spin-off
The precursor.
happened. So now we're watching Crownies.
And we're enjoying
that's been
it.
fun.
But
yes.
it's not as good as...
No, it's just fun.
Very little is as good as A Place to Call
Very
Home.
little. But we do have quite a few new things to watch and review for you for next episode, for the next podcast. So in the meantime, our stats are again very funny. We tallied 4 primetime shows, out of which 2 were written by women, which is 50%, and 0 were directed, which is 0%. But I don't think we can take that as a random sample.
I don't even remember what we watched. We actually watched current shows.
Yeah, we watched One Bold Type, which was written by a man, I think. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, but we have even though it's already July, in this house...
How is it possible?
I know. In this house, every month is Pride Month, and so we are continuing with some very proud content, starting with something very exciting. I never watched this lesbian classic because it was almost unwatchable. It was the quality was so degraded that it was very hard to find.
It was hard to watch. I did watch it. I did see it somewhere, and
it was hard to find it with
was in bad
subtitles.
shape.
The sound was bad, and the good news is it has now been restored. Madchen in Uniform, which is really a groundbreaking lesbian movie because it was done it was a German movie that was done in 1931 by Leontine Segan. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher a lot of names.
Which is even more amazing. Except there
we
were
have
female directors in the 30s all over.
Yeah. I would just like to say 3 of the things that we're reviewing are foreign, Korean, German, and French. So we're going to be butchering names completely.
Right and
so
left.
This is a blanket apology. It's not by any intention. We sure try. Anyway, so it's starring Hertha Thiel and Dorothea Vick, I think. And it's about a boarding school, and I guess it's kind of, you can say that it's like a budding romance between a student and a teacher. And, to me, it was immediately flashbacks to the Children's Hour.
Oh, to me, it was Loving Annabelle.
Oh, well. No, but the feel, the moodiness, the fear, it's extremely oppressive. And especially because it's right as the Nazis were gaining more control. Yes. The German society at that time, in this movie at least, was captured in a very tense, scary, regimented, and oppressive manner.
But the girls were very resilient and among themselves. What I loved about it is that there were no mean girls,
right?
Which is really unusual. They were all for each other, and that really is the thing that kept you from being pulled under by the depressive and depressing.
It was hard for me
atmosphere.
not to be pulled by it because it was so ominous and so just kind of. But I was so surprised, and again, this is not a spoiler because I think this should make people want to watch something. By the positive ending, I expected it was the 30s. Again, the Children's Hour happened around the same time. We know how that ended. Also about a boarding school. And I was really, really surprised that the ending here was not a typical let's punish the lesbian and restore social norms. It was actually quite positive.
It was very progressive, and
it's considered. I mean, definitely a classic,
and
definitely
it's a beautiful restoration. Beautiful
they did
restoration,
a great job.
Excellent sound. You can hear a little white noise. I'm sure though that they had to work like crazy to get the clarity that they got both visually and orally. It's really good. Really well done. Black and white, of course.
And now you can watch it. I mean, you can actually watch it. You don't have to say, okay, I'll sit through something that looks bad and sounds bad just so I can get to see it. You can really enjoy watching it because it's good quality. So it is available. I'm going to give you a few links this time because Kino Marquee has done something that's called virtual cinemas. So some of their films are actually in theaters right now in select CDs and select, art houses. But many of us are not going to get to go to the movie theater. So they have a virtual cinema. So when you go on their website, you actually have the option of streaming it for pay. And I'm going to give you several links, direct links to several of the things that we're going to review today. And this is one of them. But if you go to Kino, Kino, Kino Marquee. If you go to the website, everything is there. You don't even need my links. But
KinoMarquee.com.
Just Google Kino Marquee. I don't remember. But it's fairly easy to find, and everything is right there. So this is Madchen in Uniform, The Restoration, and way to go. The second movie that we want to review for you is a new film called House of Hummingbird, also available on the Kino Marquee website and also in select movie theaters. Written and directed by Bora Kim. It is a South Korean movie. And she is, I believe that this movie is semi-autobiographical. Mm-hmm. It takes place in 1994. I believe this is a semi-autobiographical. I don't know if it was officially said that it was semi-autobiographical.
I think that we read that somewhere.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. And it's starring Ji-Hoo Park, who is a young girl who plays this 14-year-old, I think.
14 or 15.
Yeah, 14-year-old Yoon-hee, who is the star of the film. And I think the film works so well, even though it's not the easiest film to watch, because she's just so wonderful. She's so expressive.
And so,
in a very still way.
Very still way. She's very self-possessed, but she
very empathetic.
Very, very empathetic. You really, really feel for her. You feel what she's going through, and she's lovely. I just loved her.
The movie entirely relies on her. I mean, she's in every single frame, pretty much. The other two main people I would say here is Se-Byu Kim, who plays her teacher, and Seung-yeon Lee, who plays her mother. And this is basically a coming-of-age story, but that takes place in a very specific culture at a very specific time. It was, by the way, it was Best International Narrative Feature at the Tribeca Film Festival. And it takes us through a journey of this girl for about a year of her life. She is, even though really the reviews barely said anything about it, but she is bisexual. She has relationships with both girls and boys.
But I think she really cares about the women more. I think when she grows up, she's not going to be bisexual. She's going to be a lesbian.
Yes, because it's also very obvious that she's in love with that teacher, and she just feels so misunderstood. And, teenagers in general feel misunderstood, but this girl, again, where she lives, in the family that she lives in, the kind of society that she lives, just feels so alone, and she just forms this connection with this teacher, even though not much is said between them, but they just know that they get each other. I think the teacher felt that way too.
They bonded. The teacher is very encouraging to her. She's an interesting little girl. She's a very good artist. The teacher encourages that. It's someone she can talk to.
It's very slow. It's very gloomy. It should have been at least a half an hour shorter.
That would have helped a lot.
But there's something about it that's compelling. I mean, we watched the whole thing, and even though it was slow, and even though at times I felt, this could have really been condensed, I was still drawn into it. And I think, again, a lot of it is because of the girl, and because she just manages to emanate so much, even though it's very sparse. And her life, especially her home life, is very depressing. So it's not easy to watch at times, because you just feel so, oh, God, you feel the weight.
Oh, yes. I mean, she has a
world.
mother who's very she's very unrealized, and she's overburdened, and she has a brother who's abusive to her, and a father who is
and it
very,
seems like all of her friends live in families that are also
like
broken.
that. Yes, the fathers are very
the fathers, the brothers.
Yeah, they're all kind of mean.
So again, I don't know if this is semi-autobiographical and she's just talking about her life, or if she's trying to capture a certain time in that culture. I don't know,
but I liked it very much.
Yeah.
I was very drawn to this girl, to this teacher. I was very engrossed in the story.
Acting was excellent.
Everybody was wonderful.
This is House of Hummingbird. Again, it's right now available on the Kino Marquee website and virtual cinema, and also in select theaters. Check it out. Another excellent selection from the Kino Marquee website. Again, you'll have the links, but you can find it all if you just Google Kino Marquee and go to their website.
Here we are, back again in a foreign country. This time it's in France, which is not quite as foreign. It's a new miniseries done in 3 parts called Proud. And I think it's really best watched at one sitting. I watched it all in one sitting, and I was very ready to move on to the next one after the other one finished. It also is a little slow. You know, the French have their way. It's very French. It feels French. It looks French.
Down to the nudity.
It probably tastes French if it had
if you
a
could eat
taste.
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's about it's a 3-part miniseries spanning 3 generations, right, of men in a family starting from 1981. And the main character, Victor, is gay, and he's a teenager, and his father is he's more like a contractor. They have a good life.
He manages
right.
the site,
Mm-hmm.
the building site, yeah.
And it follows 3 different gay-themed gay milestones in Parisian life.
I don't know that it was Parisian, but in French.
French, sorry, yes. When I think of France, I always think of Paris. What can I say? It takes place in a big city. It doesn't say where. In 1981, when this takes place, it was still illegal to be gay. Today, same-sex marriage. Yeah. So we had to go through that, and then there was AIDS, and then the fight for legalization of marriage, and adoption is very important to this. And the main characters, again, as I said, are Victor, his father Charles, and his adopted son with Serge, was that his name? Yes, I believe it was. Diego. And it's very moving. I loved it. Again, it's a little slow. It's a little French, and there is quite a bit of nudity, yes.
Male nudity, don't get excited.
Yes, male nudity. The women don't really have much to offer.
No, it's very light on the women, but it is big on the gay rights, gay history. Yeah,
and I liked all the characters. They all had their moments. I guess,
and the 3 generations really represent the 3 different times and the 3 different
yes,
approaches
exactly what they
to
were going through.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting is you see Charles, Victor's father. You see how he changes over.
Right.
This
you see the
period.
evolution, and he, I guess,
Yes.
represents the kind of older generation of French people,
and then coming around, which is quite wonderful.
Yeah.
I loved it. I really, really did, and I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful piece of filmmaking.
Again, it's called Proud on the Kino Marquee website.
And we're not giving you, I can tell you who did it. Stanislas Nordet, Samuel Thies, who the stars were, Frédéric Pierrot, Chiara Mastriani.
And directed by Philippe Falcon.
Yes, but I don't know if that will mean anything to you.
Anyway, Proud, 3-episode miniseries that we are recommending.
Yes.
And now for something entirely unrelated, a new movie review.
Archive, which is about AI, one of my favorite subjects. And, of course, these always fall into my wheelhouse. It premieres digitally and on demand July 6th. It's the feature screenwriting and directorial debut of Gavin Rothery, and it stars Theo James, who I think is just lovely. it's mostly just Theo James and Stacey Martin.
Yeah, we got it because we thought Rona Mitra
Rona
was going to
Mitra,
be...
who I love. Rona Mitra actually has a very small part, and Toby Jones. And it mostly takes place. It's 2038, and George is working on this very, very advanced prototype of AI that will be almost like a human. He's now at sort of the final stage, which is a kind of a scary stage. And what's so fascinating about this, it's also something he has to keep hidden. He's working on AI in this very remote, interesting place, I think in the Japanese mountains somewhere. But he has to keep his true reason of what he's doing secret. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll find out soon enough. But what I loved about this movie that I found so fascinating was that there are two prototypes before his, masterpiece, his more human-like. One is a very, very, almost like a R2-D2 robot, and the second, who doesn't even have arms and doesn't speak, but it does communicate with him somehow. And the other one is another robot, also boxy and kind of old-fashioned looking, but who does have arms, who does have a voice.
So it's WALL-E.
It's sort of WALL-E, but it speaks. And he treats them as though they're human. And so you feel about them as though they're human.
Though we're not a good example. We really do connect with inanimate objects all the time.
Weird. But
do you do that? Please email me and let me know.
Us know. Yes. No, but the way the film is made, the way the character of George treats these, they're like his children. And he tells one of them, take care of your brother. The first one has, maybe his brain power has developed to about a 5-year-old, and the older one is actually very, very far advanced, if not completely formed, and there's some jealousy involved. Anyway, it's very interesting. It's also very slow, but it does start moving faster, and it has a surprise ending, which I was actually surprised by. This is something that very seldom happens to me. I usually can see something coming a mile away. I was engrossed by it, and if you like sci-fi, if you like stories about AI, you will understand that you will care about the AI, even though they're not human, because that's the way it has to be in a film. And they don't usually end happily, although I'm not telling you what happens here.
Right.
Anyway, it's called Archive, which is very interesting. Let me just get to the Archive real quickly. Archive is something that a company has developed. It's not a new concept in science fiction. When someone dies, what's left of them...
the consciousness.
The stored consciousness is they're able to archive that, and their loved ones are able to access it, but it has a sell-by date. It eventually runs out. It expires because there's nothing left. And that figures heavily into this plot.
By the way, it was an official selection for the 2020 South by Southwest Film Festival. That never happened, but nevertheless.
I think it's an accomplished film, very small.
Okay. Archive.
Yeah.
Watch it on digital and on demand July 6th. And finally, we have a heads up for you. It's a new Charlize Thron movie, and I'm sure that I got your attention now.
You mean you had me at Charlize Thron?
She doesn't do it for me that much, but I know
me.
that a lot of other people feel differently. It will premiere on Netflix July 10th. It's called The Old Guard, directed by Gina Prince Bythewood. And it is based on the graphic novel by Greg Rucka. Besides Charlize Thron and Chiwetel Ejiofor, I don't really know anybody else in the cast.
Yes, there's Matthias. I never know how to say his name. Matthias.
Oh, Matthias
Schoenaerts,
okay.
who you will know from many things.
And Kiki Lane is basically Charlize's sidekick. I think the two of them are the main characters.
The new character in town.
Right, so I'll tell you what it's about, and when I tell you what it's about, you'll say, oh, this should be a Mimi movie. But that's exactly why I wanted it, because when I read this, I thought, oh, this is a Mimi movie, and then we saw the trailer, I said, oh, I love this. So I thought, well, I should be the one to say it, because I changed my mind. So Charlize Thron is Andy, the leader of a covert group of mercenaries that have one very special trait that makes them very good at their jobs, is that they can't die. And so they're a group of 5. That's all that it takes, because if you never die, I guess that's enough people. And they're basically soldiers.
Action. They're very, very action figure kinds of soldiers.
Right, and it seems to be that Charlize is
these
days is attracted to these kind of things.
She's a very good action heroine.
Yeah. Kiki Lane is the new soldier to join the ranks. And, of course, there are threats from greedy, bad people. That always is to be the case, like
and
now.
There are people
now.
who know about these people and who want to use them in a bad way, so they have to stay out. They have to stay as covert as possible.
Again, it's Jaws all over again.
I know, that's what I'm thinking of. Why haven't they canceled the 4th of July? Didn't anybody see Jaws?
Exactly.
I mean...
Yeah,
God.
I mean, we see it all around us all the time. Anyway, so this is... it's very action-filled, but it also has a lot of humor in it, and it seems to also have some interesting ideas to present, and... even maybe be moving at times. It just looks like
a lot of fun.
It just looks like fun. It really does look like fun.
Netflix, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, Netflix, July 10th.
July 10th.
Yes, the old guard. And again, I'm sure that you don't even need more than just Charlize, but here you go. So check it out. And this is it for us for now. And we will have a podcast next week with lots of new good things that we're looking forward to checking out.
I don't even know what they are.
Little Voice, the new Apple show, The Secrets She Keeps, the new show starring a lot of Aussies and Brits.
That always makes us happy. Not that we don't love our American stars too.
There are a lot of new things on Acorn. It's a lot is happening. There's a new movie. We're gonna review The Tobacconist. Which is a new movie as well. Lots going on. Yeah. So please be safe. Stay well.
Be safe. Stay well. Don't go out in crowds.
Party responsibly.
Yes.
If you're still feeling any ounce of patriotism left in you, then
wear
please
a mask when you go out.
And we will see you next week, or talk to you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.